O Israel, listen up. You yourselves are witnesses. You have seen with your own eyes what God has done for you. Now think about what Israel saw for a moment. I mean, from the very beginning, Moses and Aaron is sent out to deliver the message that, hey, God's coming to deliver you. God didn't send them empty-handed. He sent Moses and Aaron with signs, with wonders. They went out, throw a staff down, it turns into a serpent, only to pick it back up, turns back into a staff. They saw this with their own eyes. And sometimes we so flippantly read through these signs and you don't ponder them. But if that was to even happen today, it would captivate each and every one of you. If Moses was to put his hand out and say, look, this is a normal hand, I'm going to put it in my bosom, I pull it back out, it's totally leprous. That's disturbing. That would disturb some people. It's frightening. And then put it back in and it's totally healed. Or go grab a bucket of water from the river and pour it out on dry land and it becomes blood. This was so compelling that we are told in Scripture that because Moses and Aaron performed these signs, they believed. Just that. But now move forward and watch what they saw, what Israel saw as God unleashed hell on Egypt and pounded Egypt with plague after plague after plague. They witnessed this. They saw the whole thing. They are up to their eyeballs in the supernatural. And so much of this Exodus it parallels end-time events. I mean, it's a foreshadow. You think of the darkness for 3 days. The sun is darkened for 3 days. It's a darkness that could be felt. And here's what's amazing. Israel witnessed that. See, but where Israel was, there was light. Israel saw how God supernaturally, during the last 7 plagues that were poured out on Egypt, they saw how he supernaturally, totally protected Israel from all of it. I mean, this is crazy, and with a little emphasis on the final plague, the death of the firstborn. As they applied the blood of the lamb on the doors, because they were told, you do this so that you can be protected, and the death angel will keep going. They do this only to wake up to what? Screams of horror throughout the entire land. Weeping and agony because in every single house, we're told, there was one dead. And yet, not one died in Israel because of the blood of the Lamb. This is a nation that is immersed in the supernatural. They've seen it all. If that wasn't enough, then they go out of Egypt. Now keep in mind, they plundered the Egyptians. They asked them for silver and gold. They gave it. They're literally plundering the Egyptians, leaving Egypt. Then they get to the Red Sea, but then they're in trouble. The way they see it in their own eyes is there's no hope. Now we got the army of the Egyptians. They've changed their mind. They don't want to let us go. They're coming in, and we're all going to be slaughtered. And then God does something they couldn't even have dreamed of. He parts the Red Sea, which was to their back. He parts it. An entire nation of about 2 million people cross with water as a wall on the left and a water as a wall on the right. Unreal. Never seen anything like this in their life. And only to get across and then to turn around and to see the Egyptian army coming after them, and then God to close down the walls. The walls came tumbling down, and he literally destroyed the entire Egyptian army. And Israel didn't lift a finger. This is what Israel went through. They've been through it. They've been living in the supernatural. But here's where I'm going with this. What Israel is about to experience at Mount Sinai, you could take everything else they experience and it pales in comparison to what they're about to experience now. I want to take you to Psalm 29, verse 3. We're going to learn something about the voice of the Lord, and you need to retain this because this has everything to do with Mount Sinai and appreciating what's going on. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord is over many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. Yes, the Lord splinters the cedars of Lebanon. In other words, when the Lord opens his mouth, he strips these massive cedars, turns them into dust. This is the voice of the Lord. The voice of the Lord divides the flames of fire. In other words, it hews out. When God opens his mouth, lightning comes forth. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth and strips the forest bare. And in his temple, everyone says, glory. This is what Israel experienced at Mount Sinai. As the mountain is burning with fire, the smoke is billowing out. God opens his mouth. The peals of thunder go forth, shaking the entire ground. This is what they experienced. And I want to show you how they respond to this experience. It's pretty crazy. In Deuteronomy 5, we read this. So it was when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders. Verse 24. And you said, surely the Lord our God has shown us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that God speaks with man, yet he still lives. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of the Lord our God anymore, then we shall die. His voice was too majestic. It was too awesome. It was too holy. It was too overwhelming. And to the point where, as it goes on, it says, Israel goes to barter this agreement. Moses, you speak with us, and guess what? We'll hear. But let not God speak with us, because we're as good as dead. This is the response of Israel hearing the voice of the Lord. They actually said, make it stop. The bottom line here is Israel has experienced the voice of the Lord. It is awesome, it's powerful, and they're terrified to the core. But now you have to ask the question, okay, what did God say? And the simple answer is, he said the 10 Commandments, the Aseret HaDevarim. And what's interesting to me is here you have the most unique situation where God himself, not through a mediator, God himself comes down to speak face to face with Israel for them to hear his own voice. And God, he's God. He could have said anything. He could have chose at that time to say anything, but he doesn't. God focuses on the 10 Commandments. This is what he chooses to speak. He doesn't want these words to come through the mouth of Moses. He wants all of Israel to hear them from his mouth. Now, that should be startling. You know, there's something here. God, if you will, is highlighting the 10 Commandments, giving special attention to them so as to intrigue us, to draw us in, to investigate. He is giving special attention. There's to have special attention in our heart. I wonder what you would say if you had an experience like this. What would be your response when unbelievable holiness is presented to you and comes over you like a wave? I mean, this is what we're dealing with when we think of Mount Sinai. We're dealing with the voice of the Lord. This is something that I got to tell you, we need to have an appreciation. If we're going to dig into the 10 Commandments, we need to have some serious reverence for what we're about to dig into, because this is as serious as it gets.
Hey there, this is Mike at Corner Fringe Ministries, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch our video. We hope that it blessed you and it encouraged you. And if it did, please hit the thumbs up on the video and share it with your friends and family. It's also, if you haven't already considered, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, if you'd like to watch the entire video, click on this link. And if you'd like to watch the entire series and learn more about what we do and believe here at Corner Fringe Ministries, click on this link. Once again, I'd like to thank you for watching the video, and we hope to see you again soon. Shalom.